Hey guys, this is Anon with a second installment of my Heartbreak series. Sorry these have been a little slow coming, but wait, never mind, I'm not sorry about that at all. That's good news that it's slow coming. So, I am playing with 2011 mechs from Storm in my FV4202, and yeah, this one, you know how it ends because it's in the Heartbreak series, but how we get there is always kind of exciting. And we'll try and see if there's anything I could have done differently along the way, although I'm not terribly upset with my play in this one. It just kind of turned out the way it did. So, pretty early on, even though I want to be in dunes, it's obvious that there are the entire red team's out here, so I'm just being careful and staying towards the back because there's absolutely no way we're going to win out here. Luckily, I'm far enough away where I haven't been spotted, so I can take any snapshots or snipe shots I can get. That first one was kind of an ill-advised Hesh shot. I probably forgot it was there. I naturally switched to Hesh right off the bat in case I get the front of kind of a soft medium, but unfortunately I forgot to switch off, so I didn't do a whole lot of damage to that Star Destroyer right off the bat. So, all our team is in town, and this is instantly something I don't really like to see. Because it's much easier to snipe into town from the dunes than it is to snipe out, so it means we're probably going to have kind of a difficult situation, but I'm going to hang out over here and get my shots in as long as I can, and really also kind of try and protect this flank a little bit. I can't fully protect it because I'm alone, but we also don't want them to come just kind of all the way in. So it looks like it's going to be okay, so I start to move in a little bit, but when I see my teammate work back towards this flank, I decide to go ahead and stay over here in my initial plan, which is good timing because the T-62 shows up and figure he's probably not alone, which gets me spotted, but like I said, we're just trying to protect this. We have a lot more tanks on the other side of the map along the rail line, so this hopefully will let us protect it a little bit farther. I'm moving back just hoping to get my camo reset, so he's not going to get a proxy spot on me and make him actually pop up enough to see me, which means I might get a shot into it. So you can see I'm turning, but I'm still keeping the eye on him. Unfortunately, he pops up enough to get the spot, but still lets me get a nice shot into it. He's being really aggressive here with a couple tanks looking at him, which is certainly dangerous to do, which lets us get rid of him. But still, our team's not in great position. They're pretty in the open there in the center. So at tier 10, you just kind of assume this is going to be a loss, but, you know, like I said, I'll try and hang out down here. My camo should be reset at this point, at least until the leopard shows up. And so again, just trying to get any shots in I can. Being greedy with the Hesh, but that's largely because we're down. We need to take a couple chances here if there's any possibility of the win. And I still think this is probably the best position to be. They're starting to push in kind of down low. But I've also seen this Type 61 to my left, so I'm trying to sneak shots in on the leopard while still just trying to hold these tanks. But that's kind of when I see it in my peripheral. It looks like the Type 61 is actually AFK, and it sure looks like it, or at least lagged out because he's facing the wall. But unfortunately now it's just the two of us. So again, I'm thinking it's probably over at this point, but I want to be cautious about it and get the shots I can. That Leo's starting to peek a few up, but I'm just trying to take out anything we can and also protect the backside of mechs here as well. But in this position, there's not a whole lot we can do. If I go screaming in to help him specifically, then I am going... You can see, this is probably my biggest problem with this battle. Looking at it again, I definitely am a little too greedy with the Hesh. So, alright, so my teammate goes, the leopard comes in, but he's looking the wrong way because he was looking for the shot, so I'm going to pop over the dunes to try and reset a little bit. I can kind of see that 61 is still AFK, so I'm not too worried about him. This is where the Hesh is a good job, but I'm trying to swing to get my armor towards him because I do have that nice strong hull armor, and I'm hoping that that can help me a little bit. And this Leo is not necessarily driving in the straightest of lines, which helps me a little bit too. So, luckily at this point, now that I've gotten myself into the dunes, they kind of have to come at me pretty obvious. So it lets me roll back and use the cover and the gun depression. Obviously that was a 1 versus 6 situation, which is super difficult, but I can kind of see where the whole team is now. The E100 I'm hoping is going to crest, which he does, because you know, 6 versus 1, anybody thinks they're going to be able to kind of close this out. Also, in hindsight, I'm taking my time here, and I'm not worried about the 61. I wish I would have put a couple shots into him, just because later in the battle he would have been lower health. But again, it's hindsight, so what are you going to do? I'm taking care of the threats that are most direct to me, which was the E-100, and now I have the Object 140, and the Star Destroyer is popping up, and unfortunately that just misses. It was so close to hitting his cupola, but that will take me out for sure, so I'm kind of pushing towards the 140, that way he can't harass me, and hoping I can sneak a shot in. He does a good job of popping out, taking the shot and rolling back in. I know I'll be able to get spots on the 183 if he crests the hill, so it puts me in a good spot to kind of turn and snapshot on him if I need to. But the 140 is a really big threat, and so I'm trying to focus on that. Also taking a quick shot there, and that's just bad RNG to bounce off, you know, the strong part of the front of the turret. But the 140 overcommits to get me, even though I'm not a one-shot. And so now I'm starting to think full hero mode here. I've got it down to 1 versus 2, but one's AFK. So this is a quite a bit better situation, especially with my gun depression. But now I'm also worried about time. Like, I basically the only way to do it safely would be to run around him and pop up the hills, but then I might not have enough time to get back to the Type 61. So I switched to Hesh because it's going to be pretty difficult not to roll 100 with the Hesh, and I'm thinking, alright, I'm just going to have to go for it right here. I'm just going to pop out and try and get a quick snapshot, see if I can't kill him, and then give myself just enough time. So working and trying to do as quickly as possible. Luckily that's slow aim time, and I get the 183. It's perfect. Super excited. I have my adrenaline left. Let's haul back and get that Type 61, who has woken up at the last second and puts the shot into me to lose. So what could I have done differently? I wish we would have yelled harder to get the team out in dunes. Maybe it would have been a more straight up battle. I should have been using more APCR instead of my Hesh earlier in the game. That damage difference probably would have saved me 3 or 4 shots later and helped a lot. But you learn from those mistakes. It's part of what happens with the 4202. Sometimes you get trolled with it. And so there you go.